A really large part of map making that is usually actually unnoticed is modesty. You see, when someone is modest, they realize that they can't do everything that they want to. And if you wanted to make your map the best map in the world, you just have to keep adding stuff to it. And nobody has an infinite amount of time. So being modest, you realize that there are some things that you can't exactly do. This process is also known as feature creeping, and I've been watching the Wintergatan. I'm not very good with foreign names. YouTube channel where he builds the marble machine. I'll put that link in the description. If I'm sure you've seen it already, his marble machine. It's just a really interesting, and I just like the way it looks. His thinking behind a lot of that stuff. But he calls it feature creeping. There's a certain point where if you keep adding features to something, then you will never finish it. You can't just keep working on it because eventually you do have to finish it. So you have to draw the line somewhere. And, well, I think I've drawn the line. So where am I going to draw the line? Well, I think once I have 15 classes and 15 maps, and everything works, of course, that's more important. I think I'm just going to say that I'm done. I mean, I will add updates to this map later, but I will be done with working for this one release, and I will submit it to Realms, and if they say anything, I'll do it. Well, not anything, but I'll do mostly what they tell me to. So CDR is working on his own class, and I'm going to be working on 2 new maps. He's created one extra map for Duel, and we will check that out at the very end when I finish these 2 maps. Well, the problem is that I have to finish these 2 maps, and map making is fun, but it takes a lot of time. So I'm going to finish this up real quick. Well, as quick as I can. So I think I'm just gonna jump right to the finished product because you've already seen me make a map before. So let's go. So we've got all the maps done, and I really do mean all of them. The first one is a new dual map called Reef Bunker. I'm going to set all of these, the rest of these, to 0, and we're going to take a look at it in the spectator mode. I believe, yeah, it generates over here. I'm going to run my function so that it loads real quick. This one is made entirely by, turn down my music too just a little bit. This one was made almost entirely by CDR. I did give him a little bit of assistance just in design aspects, like using stairs and slabs, and also turning this into cave. But the whole idea is that this is an RLU base, and it's just a little underground area. And actually I haven't tried this yet. That's pretty cool. We've got this laser projection that you can't walk through during some situations. It's just kind of interesting. But it's a pretty simple map. You get jump boost in these areas, and you can take this area, and this is a good sniping post. The RLU spawns in that corridor, somewhere in one of those. The IGSR spawns here. They can actually jump back into their spacecraft, but it doesn't work very well because well, there's no health packs. There's no reason to go back up there, really. So there's fire to act like there's a battle going on. And what makes this map different is that you can actually swim in a lot of the water. And that's good because if you're a slow class, then you actually have a reason to be in the water because you move faster in water. Scout could actually just easily outpace him still, though. And you also have this really cool smoke area. It makes it... that's kind of a cool feeling. Because when you move through these certain blocks, it actually takes some of the particles with you. As you can see there. But we wanted to just use the new coral. And, well, he did pretty good with this map. There's still a few things that I might end up changing. But for the most part, it's pretty good the way it is. Ceiling is all the way up here, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, it's a pretty good map. I'll give a F3 spectator mode. You're pretty much right on top of the bottom of it. Oh, I didn't know there's a current there. Can't even tell. But yeah, so this is Reef Bunker for Duel. Made almost entirely by CDR. So here we have Gray Caves, a team deathmatch map. And it's supposed to be very gray, but have spots of this aqua color from place to place. And I used all of the gray textures in the game, almost, with exception to gravel and the 2 concrete powders. And what makes this map so interesting is that there's caves underneath of it. And this is kind of... the idea with this stuff is that it's kind of like a really slow-moving fluid to the point where you can actually walk on it. Kind of like glass, but probably a little bit more viscous. A little bit less, I mean. A little bit less viscous than glass. But you've got these caves. I'll ignore this lighting glitch. And in these caves, there's not a whole lot really, except for all this gray different colored blocks. There's a couple health packs, one right there, and I believe there's one back up here. And so what makes this map so fun is that you've got these big terrain changes all of a sudden. So if you're a scout, maybe you can run, jump down here to hide, or if you're a scientist, you throw down one of your health medipacks, or whatever they're called, and it lands right when you land, so then you get the boost right when you reach the bottom, and maybe you were fighting somebody up here and you had to retreat. And there's only one easy way to get up. It's this way. There is a couple other ways. So you can get up through here, and that's a lot of climbing. And then back over on this side, I believe you can get up really slowly. So just through parkour. And I've never actually done it, so I don't even know if it's possible. I think if you go up here like this... yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure it's possible. Yeah, look at that, I just did it. It's just not very easy. The roof of this map is just right here, so throwing grenades probably won't work too well. But there's not much I can do about that if I want such a really high map. And there's also a few traps like this that you can get stuck in. And if you're not looking where you're going. But this is Gray Caves. And I might do some pretty big changes to this one later. It's pretty interesting looking, but there's not really a whole lot going on with this map. So finally we have the farm map, and this one I wanted to build a farm that's relatively flat, so it's good for sniping. You can shoot almost all the way through here to the other side of the map relatively easily, but then a really heavy bunkered down center area that you're supposed to stay inside and really try to hold down until the enemies, which are running around like crazy on the outside, assuming there's more than one, I guess, but they just try to attack from the outside inside, and there's a whole bunch of holes that you can shoot through and attack through. So this is a really centralized point, and it was kind of interesting building this house so that it would actually be mirrored correctly. And I don't think it looks too bad. I mean, it kind of follows this weird diagonal, but it's not too bad. You've also got this kind of dock area that you jump from. And these fields of grass, I might make it so that when you shoot, it actually breaks the grass, but, well, I'll see about that. There's also like a little cellar down here that's used for, I don't know, maybe storms or something of that sort. And that's actually one of the spawn points. The back spawn point is supposed to be a water tower or some sort of silo. I should have made it a little bit bigger, but I think it works pretty well. And then this one's just a grassy hill. So it's a very simple map, and it works pretty well for taking such a little amount of time to actually make. I mean, this map took me maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to make. I mean, this map only took me an hour, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours to make. So it was pretty good use of time to make something that actually works with such a little amount of time. I didn't want the water to flow off the edge here because with setback, the barriers are contained inside of the map rather than actually just being there all the time. I could change that, I suppose, but that's just the way it is now. And there's actually a way to shoot outside of the map, which is kind of interesting. But this is farm for the game mode setback. And the overview is not too bad, actually. I like the river, the way it looks. It's kind of got that same shape layered does. But yeah, it turned out pretty nice for the amount of time I put in. So I've also adjusted the how to play, and you've got this much smaller explanation of how the game works, and there should be a barrier there, and those 2 blocks. You can read it when you actually play the map one of these times. We've also have the music pack download link, which I finally got done, and then this. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to get this, but I will say that getting all of the advancements does grant you this. This is the IGSR one, and this is the RLU suit. And I think they both look really fantastic. They work really well in game. So along with that, I'm really getting close to being done. One thing that I've wanted to add, but I won't, just to save time, is a adjustment to the shooting range. Rather than actually having a shooting range, it'll be like single player missions that you can do. So maybe a parkour course for scout and a grapple course for mobility. some sort of like just little training exercises for each class, and I think that would be really useful just to get to know the classes. But I will not add this. I might in next release. I probably more than might. I probably will add it in a future release because it is a pretty good idea. So I went a little crazy. I was expecting Replay Mod to be out relatively soon, but because Forge isn't out yet for 1.13, well, it's going to take a couple years, or at least a full year for it. And that's going to be, I can't wait for that. I need to release the map before something breaks for Forge. So I got busy and made some training missions. My skin's not loading right now, so I'm using one of the default space skins. These training missions are each just kind of teach you how to run the mission, and use the class, more importantly. So mechanic's a good one to start with. So they all have turrets in them, and the idea with this mission is not to shoot them because you can't do enough damage to make it count, but you actually repair and build a turret, which takes a while. And there's signs scattered around so that you know exactly what you're doing. But see here, it takes out the turrets. I also did add some sounds for the turret. That's the damage sound, and then here's the death sound. It makes the old explosion sound. Why's that hitting me? There we go. And then each time you end a mission, it gives you advancements. And there's 3 sets of advancements: Guardians, Strikers, and Sustainers. And it's just defense, attack, and support. That's the 3 sets of classes. So yeah, I've got 1 mission for each of the 15 classes. And along with that, I've been testing a lot. And I'll show some of the people who've helped me test. I finished this area. So we've got the Discord, me, CDR, that green gem, Fox, for helping test. Sir Kill for being the DJ. I'll show him off later. Henzoid, he's really helped me in a sense of advertising, I guess. He made my map. He hyped it, I guess. I called him the crowd hyper. I needed help with my map, and he helped testing and recording footage for the trailer, which we're going to be working on next. And he got a bunch of people together. And then Joxy, he helped test a bit too. Some of the people that actually helped me test are here. So Bart the Bar, Cat Cream, Cavinator. I've played his maps before, actually. It's just kind of funny now that he's playing mine. Rockstar, Speedier, Devin, and Sarcastic Sid. These 2 helped me with Death Cry, if their names seem slightly familiar. I also added this, and I believe I've already seen the credits, but there's like a little Easter egg in the credits the first time you jump into them. So, like I said, we're going to be working on the trailer now because I've got a lot of footage for it, and I'll show you my process. Trailers is a good way to kind of boost hype for your map, and excuse me, trailer gives the players who want to download your map a sense of what the map is about. Pictures are usually okay, but you know how a picture speaks 1,000 words? Well, I think a video speaks, depending on the frame rate, 30 words, or 30,000 words per second if it's running 30 frames per second. Maybe 60,000 if you're running 60, or for those Europeans, 25 and 50,000. But anyways, trailers help, and they just make it, they're a fun little thing to do. So we're gonna go and look at how I'm do those. So here we are in Hit Film, and it's kind of confusing if once you first look at it, but it's a really nice software that I use. I really like it for my videos because it's relatively simple to learn, and you can do a lot with it. And you can see here I've already gotten quite a bit of the map done. Or not the map, but the footage. So if I hit play, oh, gotta wait for it to load. Okay, so that's all I have right now, and that probably took a relatively long amount of time. So first thing I want to do is see if there's any effects that we can add to this to make it look interesting. So here we've got all of these video effects, and normally I don't mess with these because they're pretty complicated, but I want to do, if we look at some of these aren't what we want, but they're cool, like just to show you. See, you got this, I'm going to mute this channel actually. You got this different thing. So I just, I think I can hit Control Z, yeah. We don't want stylize, we probably want maybe grunge. Oh, that's, okay. Oh, I guess that's, that's kind of cool looking, but you can also adjust how much. So if you want it very minimal, you can see it there. Oh, let me back up. It's not nearly as bad then. I don't want this. I don't think that's good looking. And actually, let's mute that again. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I just don't even know how to use. So there's blue screen and green screen. Oh, vignette. That's what I should try. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And you can change how much. So you could change it to be really crazy. I think right there is pretty good. Actually, I think it was 1280. Oh wow, that's not very accurate. That's probably close. Opacity. Oh, that's the entire layer. Okay. It's just cool to see all of the different. Oh, I like that. That's good. Vertical stretch is. Let's keep that at 1.5. I don't know. So because this is a darker map, this I added a glow effect to the text. I'll show you how to do that next. And then let's add something here. Let's add that vignette again. I like that. And turned up the softness, didn't we? Yeah, that's good. And then do the same thing here. I unfortunately, my computer's not good enough to get 1280 60 FPS, so I've just been getting 720 30, but it should be good enough to get just a general sense of the map. It doesn't need to be the best trailer ever, because my map's not the best map ever. I mean, it's not bad. I would like to think it's not bad, but you just don't know. Okay, so let's look at this. See how much darker that makes it feel? I wish this was a little bit shorter, but I had to sync it with the music, which is the most important part of this. And well, while I'm gonna check this real quick. And yeah, I think that's fine. Turn it down for me at least. Okay, I figured that out. So watch the edges. This is what I like to do. So the music kind of changes there, so that it changes scenes. And you'll see here, okay, so that's pretty much what I'm doing, is I'm syncing it to the music, which is makes the music all worthwhile. If you just threw a bunch of random footage down, it wouldn't feel like it linked together at all. So if you noticed, these 3 clips are the 3 new game modes, or not game modes, the three of the 6 new maps. So I was going to add 3 more of these maps. We need a TDM map, which is the snowball. So if you look up here, we've got first and third person footage for all of the maps. So that looks like Gray Caves, and I want first person TDM. So let's try this. I didn't split it up by map, I split it up by oh, what's it called? Game mode and which perspective. So I'm gonna try to find, here we go, the beginning of the snowball match, which is actually pretty far. Okay, so that's relatively the beginning, and I'll just delete the rest of this. Then I just look at this and find a piece that I like. Make sure there's no chat. I cleared it a lot. I tried to. So this isn't very fun to watch, right? You want to find, like, this is a good shot, because you see a bunch of the map, first of all, and you see actual combat. So let's start probably right here, because you also don't want a bunch of camera flashes back and forth. That's very distracting and kind of gives you a headache after a while. This is one of the problems with replay mod. Okay, so now that we've got the start of the footage, we gotta find a place to cut. So that long horn right there, which you can kind of see, I think I can make the audio size bigger, extra large, yeah. Well, man, that's okay, that's really big. But actually it's not necessarily a bad thing. Can we move this upward? Yeah, so we can get both of them just about. So right here is a good place to cut because the big horn sound ends there. So if we look at it, okay, so that's a little late. So we want to slice it again. And usually you want the video just a little bit before the audio. That's usually what I find is better looking. Okay, so you see how it turned to the this box right when on the switch of the music. See, you just cut together a bunch of clips like that. So I'm going to do the other setbacks, and then we're going to do a text slide. Okay, so let's look at what I just did. It's always good to keep watching it over and over again because it's hard to find the good balance between everything. It's just really, if there's too much of one thing, one clip just doesn't feel right. Maybe this clip is a little odd. I like this clip because it shows okay, so that feels pretty good. A couple of those clips were a little long, but a couple of these are pretty short. So let's add a text now. So I've been using this black background, and the first thing you want to do is, well, this isn't a tutorial, but the first thing I do, sync it up to the music. So down here, where it gets probably here. Nope, too slow. Let's try that. Okay, I think that's not bad. And then we do a make composite shot. This is pretty good. You see, should rename these, but I don't think it matters that much. Then I do new layer, text. Just do that text. And then for the font, I don't know if it's set yet. No, I don't want Arial. I used, which one was it? I think it's unscreen. Yes, okay. So then you have to think of how do you want to present the information. So we say back here, 6 nuke maps and 2 new classes. Okay. And then here, what do we want to say? Because we show those 6 new maps. The classes, it's hard to show. You have to play as them. And you have to experience them more. This slide needs to say something else about the map, and it needs to be portrayed in a way that's not either cheesy, because that's not the way I'm going with this trailer, and it's not too intense because this music wouldn't be fitting. So this music is somewhat intense, but it's not super dramatic. It's probably about a little past the middle. So what would we say to add more information? Well, let's think here. We've got map optimizations. That's one thing we've done. 1.13. Usually you want to say what version at the very end. So I'll save that for then. Optimizations. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. My brain's kind of... Map optimizations. Okay. Now what else? You can't show map optimizations, so you have to say something else. So that's not really good to go with. That's one thing that you want to add to the end as well. Let's go training missions. I did get training footage, so this can work. And I'm going a relatively small font because most people should be able to read it. I don't want to fill up the entire screen because that looks a little cheesy. And I think that needs to be moved over to be centered, or at least somewhat centered. So that's all we have to do for this composite shot. We go back to the editor, and let's add the it would be a, yeah, lights and flare. Oh, yeah, we add it there. And then we want to go to the settings, and I like to turn up the intensity quite a bit. Radius, I think I increased. Maybe not. Advanced, I don't think I changed anything because it's a little on the complicated side. I'm not that great with that stuff. Threshold, I forgot what that does. Doesn't look like it's actually doing anything here. I think it's for color. So let's try that. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. And then I would show off the training missions after that. And then all of the last little bit of stuff at the very end. Now it gets really intense here. The strings get really, really... No, that's not strings. What am I thinking? The brass gets really deep there. And I'll fit everything according to the music. I know very little about music, so I probably said something wrong. And also, this takes up a lot of RAM and GPU, so if this is pretty cutty, that would be why. I can't hardly play and get 30 frames while a video is rendering, which makes sense, of course. But we're going to switch back to Minecraft. And I think this trailer will be out actually before this video comes out, which is kind of a weird concept. Or I might do it. This video comes out, then the trailer comes out. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. Probably the trailer first. But we'll be back in Minecraft after this. I think we're done. I'm sure you've already seen the trailer. If you haven't, check it out. But the map is done. I had a few small bug fixes and more just tiny implementations at the very end. But this map is done. And I'm very excited to see how it does on the realms. I'll be adding it after this video. Not after it comes out, after I'm done recording it. But yes, I'm just really excited to see the map done. I did a few things. The title screen, I believe if I show you real quick here, That I thought I deleted, but I did this, which you'll never actually see, so it doesn't matter. But there we go. And just a few small things like that that don't matter a whole lot. But the one thing that's kept me going with this map is imagining what it would feel like when it's done and just seeing how people respond to it. And I think it's been worth it. These last few days have kind of made it up because I've been playtesting it with new playtesters, and they've been making me feel real excited and rehyped for the map again, I guess. So, should you make maps that are really high quality? Yes. Should you make maps for the cape? No, don't ever do that. You'll become frustrated and you won't be able to do it fast enough. If you just make a small parkour map, then that's all it will be. But if you really take time and just look at some of the things that I did, a lot of the different steps I took, these are what make the map so much better and so much more playable. And notice we did all of these after the map was pretty much done. And done as in it's playable. So first of all, you get your map into a playable state, and then you work on improving it. And then, once you have nothing else to do, then you can send it off to the realms. And it probably will make it because you've poured so much time into it. So, thanks for watching this series. I might make a Project Realms Season 2 if we start a new map, and that one will start from the very beginning if there's enough inspiration for it. But I'm glad you guys all came for the ride, and I think it was a fun trip for both you and me. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.